Hi, my name is Ryan Carpenter, and this is my CCA 2 project, Culture at Every Corner, My Encounter in Playa del Carmen. During spring break, I had the opportunity to experience life in Cancun, Mexico, and it turned out to be more than just a vacation. This trip gave me a real look into another culture. From the streets and the food to the people and their traditions, what I thought would be a simple getaway ended up giving me a much wider perspective. So this is my first look from our drive from the airport to the hotel. So our cultural experience began almost immediately. As you can see on the left, that's me and my group riding from the van from the airport to our hotel. You can see I'm in the top left corner of that picture, and on the right, you see the streets of Cancun, which are full of life, colorful buildings, local businesses, many palm trees, and people everywhere. It was a mix of everyday routine and a tropical energy. Compared to what I am used to, the area had its own rhythm, and even just driving through gave me an early sense of how vibrant and layered the city really is. So, Cancun is definitely a city that comes alive at night. That vibrance only grew stronger as the nighttime hours approached. On the left, you can see a shot of Cancun lit up after dark. As you can see, there are many cars filling the streets and people walking on the sidewalks and visiting restaurants. And on the right is Senor Frogs, which is a bar that we visited while we were out at night in Cancun. It was loud, full of energy, and packed with both locals and tourists. Music poured out onto the streets, people danced, laughed, and interacted in a way that felt very different from nightlife back home. There was a kind of openness and celebration of life that I had not experienced before, and I was very excited to be a part of that. So this next slide is taste and sound, and this is really my first cultural interaction with the city of Cancun. My first direct cultural interaction came the day following the night we went out to the bar, and we went to the city for lunch. On the left hand side, you can see a picture of me in a restaurant with a live mariachi band playing behind us. The music was very cool, and I'm glad I got to experience it. And on the right is a photo of some authentic salsa we had. That was definitely one of the highlights of our meal. I also enjoyed some beef fajita tacos and some other traditional dishes. The hospitality was amazing with the music, the food, and the way that people interacted. It really didn't feel like just a meal. It really felt like an experience, and it gave me a real appreciation for how much pride and joy the people of Cancun put into sharing their culture. After lunch, we visited the marketplace to see local voices and handmade goods. So we explored local shops. On the left, you'll see a lizard keychain that I bought from a child selling handmade pieces right outside the restaurant. And on the right is a good idea of what the shops do look like in Cancun. It's really just packed from door to door with shops and different vendors selling various items. Um, they're selling everything from woven bags and bracelets to t-shirts, ceramic crafts, really any kind of trinket or knickknack you could think of, they were selling it there. But it was personal. Every vendor had their own story and style. Buying that keychain wasn't just about the souvenir, it felt like a small connection to the people and their culture. It made me realize how art and tradition live on in everyday interactions. The last thing I will share is the natural beauty and cultural depth of Cancun. This slide captures just how stunning Cancun really is. On the left is a picture of myself on the beach at the hotel we were staying at, and on the right is a high angle view of the coastline of Cancun and all the large buildings that fall on the beaches. Many of these are resorts, as it's a big tourist attraction of Cancun. But regardless, you can see how beautiful the landscape of the ocean and the beaches are. But what stood out more was how much depth the city had beyond its appearance. Underneath the palm trees and tourist areas was a strong, living culture full of pride, tradition, and community. And it showed me that beauty isn't just in the views, it's in the people and the stories behind them. So, the values that I've learned from this trip, it really just reminded me that experience a different culture firsthand can really change the way you see the world. I learned that traditions, values, and everyday life look different depending on where you are, but that's exactly what makes travel so valuable. Being open to learning, tasting, and connecting gave me a broader understanding of what it means to live in a diverse world. I left Cancun with more than just memories. I left with a new respect for how others live and motivation to keep learning from cultures different from my own.